Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron and welcome to this inbox review, which we're going to be taking a look at this 1/38 scale F-35A Lightning II, and it is of the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force as well. So a nice Japanese one here. Looking at the box art, looks pretty damn funky. We do have some colour callouts, some AK on the side. Anything else going on? Not much else going on with that, so let's open up and take a look. So first off, let's put this down here. We'll jump straight in with the main sort of show of this, which is all our surface detail going on what is two halves of our fuselage. So let's bring us in. What we will see is actually this surface detail is looking pretty damn sharp. We have recessed rivets, recessed panel lines, lovely sort of pattern detail going on here, and it's throughout the whole of the surface detail. We even have some detail going on around the actual cockpit area just here. I have noticed we do have these, it's almost like they were cut off a sprue for us, so we may have to fill and sand those areas there. There's another two just there, but they're going to be covered up by horizontal vertical stabilizers. Flip this over, nothing really to write home about on the inside, but moving along we have the underside just here, which again we have, where have they gone, we've got a couple of these sort of areas where they've cut it off the sprue for us. Again, we may have to fill sand them, but again the surface detail along this is all looking just the same as the top, pretty consistent throughout. When we come to almost these 90-degree angles, we don't seem to be losing any of the detail, which is rather good, and hopefully, as you can see, that is going to look pretty amazing, especially if you go to the time to mask up and get this pattern looking rather good. That will look pretty damn good. F-35, nothing to write home about on the inside. So what we have is a whole bunch of, if we just get these out the way, a couple of different sprues going on the inside. We have our forward landing gear, right, which, you know, we do have some nice bits of detail in there. We have our wheel, not much detail on that side. A little bit of hubcap detail, not too bad. I do believe this is our front landing gear wheel well. We do have rib work going on in there, but there's not much else to go with on the detail. If I flip this over, we do have our wheel well doors for both open and closed. Then we have our sprue here, which does have all these lovely pylons, right, which does have all that lovely detail as well, recessed panel lines, recessed rivets. It does also mean that we get beast mode, and I do love beast mode on the F-35s. Our air intakes, this is the inside of the air intakes of one of our, let's get you to focus, of one of our air intakes, and then we flip this over, and then here is the inside of the rest of the air intake. We do have some ejector pin marks in there, which you may want to take care of, but it does look like this is the front end, so it's kind of more at the back where the ejector pin marks come in, so maybe it might not be that bad. We do have a fan just here as well, nice bit of detail with that also. Moving along with our sprues, right, we do have some of the internal detail. There's a lot of internal detail with this kit, with the weapons bays, the wheel bays and all that, and we do have quite a bit going on here. Some very fine, lovely sort of hoses or brake hoses or hydraulic hoses or something along those lines in there, a bit of rib work, and it does kind of set it off quite nicely. A wash should look quite good there, and as you can see, we've got loads of that going on. We do have a good looking exhaust also, right. We have sort of like recessed rivets on there internally. It does look quite sharp and does look like that would probably go quite nice with like some Mr. Colour, sorry, not Mr. Colour, no, Mr. Metal Colour. Well, it should go nice with that, kind of putting those paints on top of there. A few other little bits going on with that. This did fall off of the sprue, by the way, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal that it's come off the sprue. We do have some fans just inside there, you can just see, nice bit of detail, but nothing going on around the edges, so could have had some detail in there, which may be a little bit of a shame. Next sprue we have some of our cockpit detail just in here, so we could take a look. We have our cockpit tub. We have some detail going on there, maybe it could have been a little bit better. Flip this over, we have our instrument display panel, which is just like basically one big screen going on there, which I do believe we have a decal for, and then a couple of quite fine buttons and dials, which are a nice bit raised. Hopefully you can see just there, so quite a bit of detail with that. We do have probably bomb bay doors or something along those lines, which not much detail on the inside of them, which I don't know if that's because it's kind of like a new aircraft and then it's kind of hard to maybe find and see the detail maybe, but we do have kind of like that sort of pattern work that goes around the edges of the outside of the doors. We do have sort of like the, oh, is that the ejector seat? Looks like the ejector seat just there with some nice bit of pattern work on there, and then we have sort of like the framework to our actual canopy section just there as well. Moving along with the sprues, because there is a few in this kit. What we got left, okay, we have some more wheels and whatnot going on here, and looks like wheel wells as well, again with those hoses. Maybe a bit more detail would have been nice. I don't know if those ejector pin marks are going to be visible, hopefully not. Some wheel well doors just here. Flip this over, not major detail going on with them, but you know, that might not be such a bad thing. I'm not sure of the accuracy of that either. Again, more internal detail, loads of rib work and pipe work, and we have our rear landing gear as well with some nice detail on and around them, as well as our wheels and hubcaps. Good detail also. We then have our wing section, so we've got a bit more surface detail, which hopefully you could see. Got some pretty good surface detail in there. Not much, but then that does kind of look accurate to the real aircraft. As you can see, not much major detail. It's all nice and kind of smooth. We do have drill holes so that you can have beast mode or not. Right, so you have got that option to choose. We have our vertical stabilizers and horizontal stabilizers and stuff. Again, surface detail looking really nice and smooth, and you've got that nice pattern. But if I flip this over, they've decided, because when you kind of do your sort of stabilizers and those kind of things, you normally put two halves together, and then you can nicely sand around the edges to get rid of any sort of glue marks or anything along those lines. I do hate it when like manufacturers go off and do this thing where it's not a complete half. So what you end up with is putting this piece on top of there, and then you end up with like some sort of a glue line, a gap, and I don't believe that's on the real aircraft, so you're probably going to have to go off and fill, sand and scribe. A bit of a positive, I suppose, is that Meng is normally good with air fit, so it shouldn't be that bad looking. If you kind of wanted to skip that, because it is on the underside, I suppose. We then have some little goodies left in here. We do have a bunch of weapons, maybe not as many as you'd like considering we've got beast mode, but we do have some GBU 31s, I do believe. There's about 4 of them. We've got 2 AIM 120s as well. Then we have a little bit of photo etch, right, which is a bit of sort of like engine detail in there, as well as our seat belts as well, which should jazz up the cockpit area. We then have, which has been nicely packaged, I've already got this out of one package and then we've got another package on here, but this is our canopy section. So let's just show you that. Right, hope you can see how crystal clear that is. I mean, I've already noticed we've got a little bit of a scratch. Let's just put it up to the light just so as I can see. Yeah, that does look like a bit of a scratch. Right, so this particular one, I've got to do a bit of sanding to kind of get rid of that. I don't know if that is just a one-off, just rubbing in the package or something like that. You might have a nice clean one. I add a little bit of a scratch from packaging, basically. But apart from that, it does look pretty damn crystal clear. So let's move on with the instructions and all that goody stuff. Starting off with our decals or decals, depending on what continent you are from. We have not many decals going on here, not a lot to sort of look at, but you know, they do look pretty sort of, you know, well done. To be fair, you know, the small writing is, you know, you could almost read some of that small writing. We do have our instrument display panel that does look pretty cool as well as all the markings, and looks like weapons markings as well on there. So they not a lot, but they do look pretty good. We do have our first set of our only set of markings, which is maybe one of the disappointing parts of this kit. You've got one set of markings, that's it. It is showing us is it showing us that what color we're supposed to use for this? I am not seeing it. I mean, it's showing where all the decals go, but I'm not actually seeing where it says what color to actually do this, so that's a bit strange. But you'd probably want to put your research in anyway and find out what colors best match it anyway, so I'm not too bothered, but it's not on there. But yeah, it does seem to get us there with where all the decals go, and it is in color, I suppose, but there's only one set of markings. Now let's take a look at the instructions. Now the instructions are all in, I'm assuming this is Japanese. There is no English translation, which is also another little bit of a downer on that as well. Moving along, we do have our color callouts here for Meng's AK and their water-based colors as well. I'd be going off and just kind of do my own research on that. But yes, we start off with the ejector seats and cockpit section. It does give you the color callouts of what thing colors are, which is a good one. Shows you where the photo etch seat belts go. And it does look quite like it's going to get you there, and it does seem quite easy to sort of get you there. It does even show you where decals go as well. Right, so we're pretty good there with the instructions, but again, it's all in Japanese. So if there's any kind of, which you will find with this, is that if there's anything that kind of has like a warning, like here we have this warning thing, but then it's in Japanese, so we don't know what they're going on about. But even though that's not there, I think you can still kind of get the gist of how it all goes together. But yes, landing gear, it's saying to kind of put that in straight away. I don't think you're going to have to, which you don't want to. You want to leave that till the end. Then we move on to weapons straight away, which is a bit strange, but hey ho. Then we have the weapons bays, which looks like we've got some good stuff going in there. Again, they've got the color callouts and where they want you to put the weapons. Air intakes looks pretty sort of simple and easy to follow as well, but it does look like we're going to be putting a lot of stuff inside the fuselage before we bring the fuselage halves together, so quite a bit of work going on before we actually get them together, and it should be a good fit because, as I say, Meng's normally good for that. Moving along, here we have beast mode. You know, if you want to go off and drill those holes out and have all these pylons on there and have beast mode, you can. Then we put the wing section together with all your bits going on that. Moving along, vertical horizontal stabilizers, pretty simple. Then it shows us what if you want, you know, what pieces to go where if you want to go off and have the landing gear in down and having a in-flight display or something along those lines, and then it shows you to have it in landing gear down mode, followed by canopy up or down, as well as, which I suppose this is quite nice as well, they do show you where you can put weapons if you want to. So all in all, to sum this all up, first off, the kit was new tooled in 2017. It's going to cost you around £60, so it's not a bad price, I suppose. You know, it is a 1/48 scale modern jet. It is by Meng, and they're normally really damn good fitting kits. The detail is pretty damn good all over it. Not really much to grumble about, apart from a couple of areas. First off, the instructions, they're all in Japanese to start off with. Could do with maybe a little bit more sort of information in there, you know, being in English now and then. The actual marking sheet you get here doesn't actually give you color callouts for the actual aircraft itself. It is a shame that there is only one set of markings. I mean, considering it's £60, I mean, another set of markings would have been nice as well. Maybe they could have done Japanese, US Air Force or something along those lines, you know, because I mean, not exactly a lot of decals, is it really, for one set of markings? So they could have done more in that sense. But I'm probably just being a little bit picky at the end of the day. I suppose the one real sort of issue is, you know what, if you've got beast mode in this, you kind of can put on a lot of weapons on this aircraft, and you don't really get that many weapons with it. So that's maybe a little bit on the disappointing side. Other than that, I think it's a fantastic kit, and if you can brave the masking up to actually get that pattern you get on the F-35s, you know, this is going to be a cracking kit and would look absolutely amazing. And it's one kit that I do want to buy. I'm probably going to go off and keep this kit, put it in my stash, ready for a step-by-step down the line in the future at some point. Maybe buy some extra weapons, maybe some more markings for it. But yeah, definitely a big thumbs up here at Genesis Models. So as always, until next time, my name's Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.